Well, good evening and welcome everybody to a West Ham Daily special. Yeah, Anton did a special earlier. Didn't really say much though, did he? Apart from thank you. And but from the minute he went offline, all the news has broken, hasn't it? So we've got a few what should we call them, exclusives for you, well, if you want to call them that. A couple of things coming up. I mean, this is going to be mainly about Kretinsky and the takeover and the investment that he's just made in West Ham United, which I'm sure you know is the worst kept secret. We all knew it was going to happen, etc., but it was all confirmed today. But whilst we've been putting the show on, setting it up, a couple of things have broken out. So why don't we cover those things first, and then we'll get on to the whole Kretinsky thing, etc. And a bit of breaking news for those of you who may or may not know: Declan, he's out of the England squad. Yes, you heard it. He's pulled out of the England squad because of illness. Now, sad for England, but let's be really honest, people. He could do with a break, can't he? And we actually, I think a lot of West Ham fans are really delighted that not delighted for him. And we're obviously we're sorry for him because it means a lot to every footballer to play in for their club. But West Ham fans must be delighted because it gives him 2 weeks off, and I think for us that's a major boost. And I hope he gets better. He's not suffering a major illness. It's like he's had a bit of a cold or something like that, a bit of flu or whatever. We don't think it's anything like COVID or anything that serious. But in order to get himself match fit and so on, he was unable to train, and he's returned to West Ham. And he won't play any part in the following fixtures for England. No additions to the squad are being announced yet. Mason Mount and Luke Shaw are still yet to link up with the group, and they'll be assessed for because of dental and concussion issues, respectively. Now, England, they only need 4 points from their final two games to be certain of qualification. They're not exactly playing anyone that they can't beat with their eyes shut. So, as much as we're sorry for Declan not making it, we know he's an integral part of the England team. We know that just by missing out on this particular game, it's going to mean he's going to struggle to get into the team in the future. And I think all honesty, when you're ill, you take your time off, you get better, you come back fighting for the game against Wolves. I know I'm smiling. I shouldn't be because it's a player's career and all that sort of stuff. I understand that, but Declan's out of the England squad, so that's the first breaking news. And then the other bit of breaking news involves one of our under 23 captain, Ajibola Alese. Now, I don't know if many of you know, but we've been eliminated from the Papa John's Trophy. Now, the Papa John's Trophy is like a sort of a mini sort of league in a way, where you sort of accumulate points, etc., in order to get through to the knockout stages and so on and so forth. Now, West Ham, they initially progressed through to the group stages of the competition, the second season running when they managed to do that after finishing top of their group. But when they played Gillingham, they played an ineligible player because Alese got two bookings that should have kept him. He got bookings that should have kept him out of the game against Gillingham, and because of that, West Ham were deducted 3 points from the group standings, which meant that they dropped out. What a shame, because the West Ham academy, the West Ham under 23s, etc., have been doing exceptionally well. If anybody watched the West Ham Weekly last night, I talked about quite in some depth about the under 23s, the academy, and so on, and about quite a few of the players that are sort of breaking through. And they're second in the Premier League Two. League, only a point behind Arsenal, and so to get a trophy is on top of that. The Papa John's Trophy is an under 21 tournament, which means you have a mixture of the under 18s and the under 23s. Whereas the under 23s that Alesi or captains for, obviously, is the under 23s, and so you mix players in from 18s and under 23s. And unfortunately, unwittingly, I'm sure we didn't do it on purpose. Alesi played because he got two yellow cards from previous rounds, which meant he was ineligible. We've been docked 3 points, and we're out of that group, and we're out of that competition. It's a real shame because doing so well in the under 23s league and also winning a trophy would have been fantastic. But I hope it doesn't knock them too much, and I hope they come back fighting and continue to push forward in the under 23s in Premier League too. Okay, that's the breaking news out of the way. So let's talk about the news of the day, shall we? And of course, we all knew it was coming that Kretinsky was about to buy a fair share of West Ham United, and so the deal was confirmed today. Karen Brady said, on behalf of the board, I'm very pleased to welcome Daniel Kretinsky and Pavel Horsky. Where'd he come from? But we'll talk about him in a minute. And 1819's Holdings AS to West Ham United. We are always looking to continue to progress, and Daniel's involvement brings investment, which strengthens the club's position and in turn will assist in the development of the club's key areas of focus. So let's focus on that for a minute. The club's position. Well, we know that the club's in debt. Now, let's not start shouting about, oh, typical bloody owners, etc. Because, in fairness to them, just about every Premier League club is in debt, especially because of the pandemic and all that sort of stuff. But hey, I'm not making excuses for them. Let's just look at this on face value. So, um, strengthens the club's position means that it's been suggested that a large proportion of the 150 million pounds that Kretinsky has invested in the club will get rid of an awful lot of the debt. And in turn, and she goes on to say, it will assist in the development of the club's key areas of focus. Well, what are the club's key areas of focus? Well, we don't own the stadium. We don't have to pay for it to be improved because that's down to LLDC. We don't own the grounds or anything like that. So the club's key area of focus has surely got to be the squad. It's got to be the squad. It can't be much else, really, can it? My apologies if you can see me in the background. I can't be asked to pull the blinds down, and someone complained that the blind was broken, so I'm going to keep it as it is. Anyway, so the area of focus has got to be the squad. Now, I said in my show last night that I just wonder, let's not forget that what's happening is Kretinsky is buying shares from other shareholders, and I'm going to come to that in a moment. So what he's basically done is what the owners, what the shareholders do with that money is another matter. So they could either take the money and pocket it and say thank you very much, that's my pension for the future, or they can turn around as shareholders and go, right, okay, we're going to take some of it for ourselves, and then we're going to invest some of it back into the club, pay off the debt, maybe buy a few players, and so on and so forth. Now, I think the one thing I said last night is I don't think we should be going expecting that we're going to all of a sudden buy a whole squad of players. I'm not so sure. There's two reasons for that. Firstly, I'm not so sure that's the right thing to do. And secondly, David Moyes is going to have an awful lot to say about what he should be spending and what he shouldn't be spending. And we joke about Moyes. If you give him 100 million pounds, he'll give the owners back 50 million and go, I don't need that manager he is. That's the type. That's the way he does things. And also, do we want to buy a lot of players in the January transfer window? But we've got a very very good setup at the moment, and I know people are going to say we need a striker, we need a left back, etc., etc. And I'm not disagreeing with that. But Moyes has got other ideas. Moyes might go out and go, look, I want Lingard. Let's give Man United the 5-10 million that they want for the last 6 months of his contract. Bring him in. That's not a lot of money. And he might go, and we've been linked with a couple of centre backs from the Championship today. Might go, right, I want to spend 10, 15, 20 million on a Championship centre back, and that might be it. I don't think we need to get carried away and think that all of a sudden we're going to start spending 50 million pound on a player or 60 million pound and giving them 400 million and give them a 400,000 pound a week contract, etc. I don't think that's happening. I think Moyes has got a concept in his mind and he knows what sort of players he wants. He knows what sort of value of player he wants. He doesn't have to go out. He won't go out and buy a player for 30, 40, 50, 60 million pounds. He will go out and buy a Jared Bowen for 19 million. He'll go out and get a loan in to see how he'll do, Thomas Socek, and then buy him for 19 million. That's the kind of now. So all this money coming in is fantastic, but I don't think we want to get carried away with ourselves and think that all of a sudden we're going to be in the high earning bracket. And let's go back to Declan. There's an awful lot of talk, and I did a cheeky show about a week or so ago saying 400 grand a week, is Declan going to get 400 grand a week? Let's not start thinking that our players are going to get massive contract increases as well, because I think that's a rocky path, that is, because yeah, great that we've got an investor in. I'm going to go on to Karen Brady's second statement, where she said David Sullivan and David Gold have always been very open about finding the right investors to join them on the journey as custodians of West Ham United. And Daniel's strong business acumen and football experience will be a huge benefit to the club. We're very much looking forward to working with him and Pavel. So there's an investment there, but let's not go thinking that all of a sudden we are in the top echelons of the Arab owners of Newcastle and Man City and all that sort of stuff. That's not going to happen. Now Kretinsky's worth something like or depending on what you read, 3 billion, 4 billion. Hey, what's a billion between mates? But I don't think he'll have that liquid capital to spend on players willy nilly. Now, Kretinsky himself has come out and said the development and growth of the club in recent years has been clear for everyone to see, and I'm delighted to be part of what I believe is a very exciting future ahead. Having been to the London Stadium recently to watch David Moyes' team, I know it's an incredible time to become part of the West Ham United family. I feel privileged to now have the opportunity to help everyone here build on the proud traditions of this great club. What are the traditions? We're going to bring back the old crest? I don't know. We're going to put a museum up? I don't know. Are we going to buy the stadium and do it how we want to do it? I don't know. I don't think so. Kretinsky goes on to say, I'm delighted this detailed process has been successfully concluded. I'm passionate about football. I greatly appreciate and respect the exceptional history and tradition of West Ham United, as well as its loyal and passionate supporter base, and also the highly inspiring role it plays in many social programs and initiatives. And that's one thing that doesn't get mentioned a lot. West Ham do a hell of a lot around the community, and I know a lot of people are going to go, well, they didn't help the market stall holders, etc., at Green Street when they moved. Yeah, I know that. I know that. No, I'm not denying that, but they do actually behind the scenes, and they don't shout out about it. They do a lot for John Ratomski and Iron Supporting Food Banks. They help a lot of local initiatives. Can you see the fireworks? They hold a lot of initiatives around the local area as well. So it's great that Kaczynski understands the concept and understands what he's buying into. Right. So, who is Pavel? Who is Daniel Kretinsky? Well, we kind of all heard about him already. He's the chairman of the board of EP Energy, EP Infrastructure, EP Power Europe. Who are EP? And through his role as a partner in the JNT Group, I don't know what these companies are. He was involved in the founding of Energetiki, Průmyslový Holding. Mr. Kretinsky also serves. You can see I didn't do this. Anton did these slides for me, and he just took them verbatim, didn't he? Mr. Kretinsky also serves on several boards of companies that are affiliated with EPH, NAFTA, Ustream, EPH daughter company, EP Investment Advisors, and also holding positions of companies unaffiliated with EPH, including chairman of the board of AC Sparta Prague. And I'm going to get onto that in a minute. Mr. Kaczynski holds a bachelor's degree in political science, a master and doctoral degrees in law from the Masaryk University in Brno. So basically, he's an investor. Is all you really need to know. He invests in energy, infrastructure, football clubs, anything that he thinks. He's recently invested in Sainsbury's. He's invested in the Royal Mail just before the pandemic. He saw an opportunity in like a store, a supermarket, and who was going to start delivering food at home. Big potential there. And he saw the Royal Mail. Of course, that was going to increase in value because of the pandemic as well. Um, Who's Pavel Horsky? Because up to today, I didn't even know this man existed. Mr. Horsky has been working for EPH Group since 2009. He holds the position of Chief Financial Officer of the group, with main responsibilities in areas of financing, treasury, tax, risk management, and coordination, and management of group companies. Mr. Horsky is also a member of the management board of the management. I've lost my way, so I'll start again. Mr. Horsky is also a member of the management board of parent company Energetiki, and then the rest of it, EP Infrastructure, EP Power Europe, as well as several subsidiaries of the group. Prior to joining EPH, Mr. Horsky held the position of Market Risks Advisory at RBS, Royal Bank of Scotland. Mr. Horsky holds a master's degree in math in the same uni, so they clearly know each other. They know each other very, very well, and they're working in tandem, and they're both going to be on the board. So who has bought what, and what's he invested, and what does this, where does this take us? So we believe he's bought 27% stake in the club, circa 150 million pounds, which kind of roughly makes the club worth about 575 million pounds. Bear with me; these figures aren't accurate, but I can only go by, that I read one story where he's invested 200 million, but every other story has said 150 million. So 27% of 150. 27% means 150 million equals a total value of the club about 575 million. So who's he bought the shares from? David Sullivan, he did have 51.5% stake in the club. It's now down to 38.3%, 38.8%. He's sold his shares and will receive a rough income value of 73 million pounds for the shares he sold. But he's still got an investment value of 223 million pound in the club. This is all based on the club being worth about 575 million. So Mr. Sullivan could pocket that 73 million and say, thank you very much. I'm off on holiday. David Gold, he had 35.1% of shares, and it's now down to 25.1% of shares. And the value that remains for him is circa 144 million pounds in the club. The value of shares income he's received is roughly about 57.5 million pounds. So there's his pension sorted out. Um, Trip Smith, he owned 10% he had 10% shares of the club, and they're down to 8% of the club. So he's still got about a 46 million pound investment in the club, and the value of shares he sold was circa 11.5 million pounds. And the Terry Brown family still own 1% of the club, which is circa 5.75 million pounds. Now, I don't know if they sold any part of their shares. I'm not sure. So there you are. The money's been split. So you can see, individuals selling their shares have got a sizable amount of money back. And they can do what they want with that money. They can either say, well, Karen Brady has said it herself. Money's going to go into investment, etc. Is going to go in clearing the debt and all that sort of stuff. So that's good news. That's good news all round. It will put us on a much more our footing will be much more stable. It means our debts aren't going to keep mounting up. It means I don't know if they'll clear the whole debt, but I've got a feeling they'll clear a sizable chunk and maybe keep a little bit of that money for themselves, and a little bit of that money for maybe one or two transfers. But I warn you again, people, let's not get carried away. Clearly, any investment in any business is good news. Clearly, there's no doubt in that at all. But let's not get carried away that we all of a sudden we're in the higher echelons of spending and salaries for players, etc. Than the likes of Man United and Man City and Liverpool are, and Chelsea, etc. Because we're not. But this is good news all round. It is good news all round, and it's very, very timely news because the transfer window is only a few weeks away. Now, I don't have any news, I'm afraid, on Ogbonna, apart from what I said in the show last night. If you haven't watched the West Ham Weekly, it's only 2.5 hours long. You can skip through it and find out the details on Ogbonna. I did that very early on in the show. There's no further news on him, but clearly, I said last night, Moyes has got an opportunity now to see how the squad fare up, see whether any of the under 23s are up for it before he decides to maybe dip into the transfer market for another centre back, a striker, or what have you. So let's finish off with some comments before I leave you to the rest of your evening. Pete Gads, good evening to you. Declan's out for Albania San Marino due to illness. I hear he's sick of playing shit. Sorry, Long Dart. No more news on Oggy. Just mentioned that. I hope you're well. Thank you for joining. Deck needs a break. He absolutely does. Lee, let's get Lingard and Lacazette in January. Well, let's get Lingard in and let's see what happens thereafter. Robert, hello, mate. Did anyone else see that we fielded an eligible player in the under 23s against Gillingham? The player, yeah, Alisa, yeah. And I mentioned that as well. Thank you for that, Robert. Robert, again, therefore thrown out of Papa John's trophy. Yeah. Good evening to you, Yuhao. How are you? Uh, Joan, that was me. Ooh, was it breaking enough? Probably not. Nick, hello, mate. What does it mean if he has shares in West Ham and Sparta Prague? Good point. I was going to mention it and I completely forgot. So, as it stands, UEFA rules state that you cannot have an interest in two clubs who play in the same competitions. So, if, for example, Sparta Prague and West Ham get into the Champions League next season, there's going to be a conflict of interest. And I don't know. I'm going to have to look this up because I didn't have enough time to look it up earlier. Um, UEFA rules do state that you cannot have an interest in both. Do you know what? Let me try and look it up while UEFA UEFA rules on. I can't even type because I'm trying to do it too quickly. Owning two clubs. Whilst that comes up, here we go. Can the same individual own two football clubs at the same time? So here we are. Ownership of football clubs and the integrity of the competition. A key aspect of the sporting world is to protect the integrity of football and of the competition. If there is not a fair competition in the sporting context, this overshadows the sporting contest. It is therefore felt that if two football clubs are playing in the same competition and are owned by the same person or business, this would diminish the integrity of the competition. So, Football Association Premier League rules versus UEFA. Under rules of the FA Premier League and those of UEFA, it is prohibited for the owners or directors of a football club to have the power to influence the management of another club. However, there are disparities between the two sets of rules. So let's go into the Premier League rules. Under the Premier League rules, an owner of a football club or a director of a football club must adhere to the fit and proper test and must sign a declaration that they comply with this test. The fit and proper test applies to all directors and individuals holding more than a 30% shareholding. Anyone who owns more than this in the FA Premier League football club would fall outside of the remit of the fit and proper test and would be unable to own another club. So here's a bit of a clue now as to maybe why Kretinsky has only got 27% in West Ham. Now, let's look at the UEFA rules. UEFA's integrity of the UEFA club competitions, etc., was adopted in 1998, became effective in the 2000-2001 season. Okay, this states that no two clubs or more participating in a UEFA club competition may be directly or indirectly controlled by the same entity or managed by the same person. Right. Having an interest in another football club is defined as meaning the majority of the shareholders' voting rights in another club in the same UEFA competition, the majority of the shareholders' voting rights. Kretinsky doesn't have the majority of the shareholders' voting rights, or the right to appoint or remove a majority of the directors in another club. He doesn't. He's only got 40% in Sparta Prague. He's only got 27% at West Ham, or the majority of the shareholders' voting rights through a shareholders' agreement in another club in the same UEFA competition. Basically, by him, he must have done his homework because by him only asking for 20 or only investing 27% in West Ham means he's exempt for all this. Let's go on and see if there's anything else here for me to read out. That's the main crux of it. That's the main crux. So basically, because he won't have outright ownership or control of either club, 40% in Sparta Prague, 27% at West Ham, because he doesn't have overall control. He can't influence anything that happens between the clubs. Now, is that true? I don't know. Now, I know I've just read this, so please forgive me if I've got it wrong, if I've misinterpreted it, but you tell me otherwise. It looks to me that because of the the percentage value of what he's holding, it looks to me that he's going to be exempt from being being sort of charged with anything improper or etc. And it looks like he may not have to sort of get rid of his sharehold in either West Ham United or Sparta Prague. That's what it looks like to me. But if you believe I'm wrong, then please do tell me, because I've only just read that. I haven't absorbed it. I've just read it verbatim. Um, Good evening to you, Billy. We are massive. Absolutely, we are indeed, mate. Vinay, imagine if you're in a bus, you'd be happy with the with Ole. Will you be happy with Ole at the wheel? I hope everyone's well. Blah blah blah. Absolutely, Vinay. He has minority share, so that see, all I had to do was read your comment, Vinay, and I wouldn't have had to go into all that kerfuffle. Billy Closet will come now from Prague. Will he? Lingard and reckon we need a left back cover and maybe look at another young centre back. We've got a lot of good centre backs. Let's not forget. If you haven't watched my show last night, go and watch it. I talked about Baptiste. David Moyes has said, I want Baptiste around the first team squad. What a great opportunity for that 17-year-old. 17, and he's playing for the under 23s. And he's also been picked for the under 19s England squad as well. Good evening, Steve. I hope you're well, mate. Father Snowman. Got to be still late again. Was I late? Never. I'm never late. Alan, you lot are always early. Good evening to you, Alan. Thank you for joining. Good evening, Jordan. I hope you're well. Dangerous Sod. Good evening to you. I hope you're well too. Up, two, down. How are you? Breaking news. Don't sneeze too quickly. Vinay, still at the will to die expert. I sure am. Yuha, did Thomas Socek bring you got him for us, didn't he? Marlon, hello, mate. I hope you're well. Hammerette, how are you? I hope you're well. Black Country, good evening to you as well. Billy, 1 point better off than Liverpool. Were also third when they become massive. There you goes. Jordan, he looks as if he wants to sing you a lullaby and kiss your bottom while you go to sleep. Who does? Billy, season comparison, we doing 3 points better at this point. What do we need to push on? Keep winning. I guess that's what we need to push on. Keep winning. Dangerous Sod, give Dexter. He's getting it now. Good evening, Ledge. How are you? Can't be. Yep. I hope you're well. Two up to Dan. Oh, I see. It's Decker. Yep. Jordan. Yeah, you scared me for a second, still. I thought you were going to say Declan was injured. Amaret couldn't think of a better time for Rice to get ill selfishly. Neither could I. That smile and I mean, he must have, Moyes must have gone, for fuck's sake, Dex. Come on, mate. Go on, take a sickie, throw a sickie. Go on, mate. You know when your mates at work, not that I would ever do this, but you know when your mates at work go, oh, I'm throwing a sickie, I can't bother. Monday, oh, I'm throwing it. I bet Declan's gone, Gareth, I'm not feeling that well, mate. I'm a bit under the weather. Can I not come in on Monday, please, mate? He's probably on the SARS after Sunday, after the game. He couldn't get up in the morning. He was hungover. He's had a load of beers, isn't he? He doesn't even drink. He had one beer and he's been ill all week. Billy, thankful. Good rest for Declan, absolutely. Steve, Deck will be back for Wolves Saturday week. He sure will be. Howard, evening all. Good evening to you, Howard. I hope you're well. Vina, Declan slipped on a bar of soap and grazed his knee, so he needs a rest for a while. No, it's not COVID. No, it's apparently he's got a cold and a sniffle and stuff like that. Helen, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're only 11 games in, and such a lot can happen between now and the end of the season. Helen, I'm told you last night, go and take that happy pill. Honestly, get those West Ham tinted glasses on, and you'll see things in a much brighter way. But thank you, Helen. I hope you're well. Billy, what happened to the West Ham clips? Got banned on Twitter. Just people just don't get our bans. Did they? I didn't know that. I didn't know. Well, I'm not on Twitter, so I wouldn't know. Yuha, Declan has nosebleed for being so high in the table. Black Country, good news for us if he needs a rest. Absolutely. Steve, how does Smith Rowe get in the squad before Bowen? I know. Talked about it last night. If you saw the show last night, mate, I did talk about that as well. Let's scroll down. What is the Papa John's Trophy? It's an under 21s. Basically, it's an under 21s tournament where you kind of play in group stages and you get through to the knockouts and all that sort of stuff. So it's an under 21s, and as I explained earlier, it's a combination of the under 23s and under 18s, and yeah, that sort of stuff. Steve, Papa Doc Trophy is a prescription. Hammerette, I am enjoying every second of just how great we are. It's because you're watching this show, Hammerette, and because I'm on. Come on. Is Doc Trophy played in Haiti? Did I say Papa? I said Papa John's. Did I say Papa? No, I get what you know. You know what I meant. So stop it. Leave it out. Leave it out. Good evening, Sabina. I hope. Oh, not Sabina, is it? It's Clive. Sorry, mate. I hope you're well, Clive. Helen, Jordan. Or of course we can all enjoy it. Let's just not go over. Yeah, we got to keep our feet on the ground, and Moyes will do that. Moyes will do that. Jordan, we should sign Daniel Craig in January since he left the 007 club. Billy, Simon Jordan's going to have a right moan tomorrow about this geezer buying shares. Let him moan all he wants. Steve, hopefully this still means GSB on the way out in the future. I don't know, let me go back to those. Basically, Kretinsky has become the second largest shareholder now with a 27% stake. But Sully, he's still got a 38% stake. He's still calling the shots. So I don't know. I don't know. A lot of people are speculating that this will be the end of Gold and Sullivan. I think we'll see Gold go. He's near retirement age. He's not been well for a while. His stakehold now is 25%, and you might see a bit more being bought. But I reckon if David Gold sells any more of his shares, it'll probably be spread between uh, the current shareholders. And that thing I've just gone into, the question I was asked about keeping, what percentage of stakeholder do you have to have in the club before the FA or UEFA find it, it's going to impinge. It's 30% or more. So maybe, just maybe, Kretinsky won't want to buy anymore whilst he still owns a percentage share in Sparta Prague. Now, of course, he could sell some of his shares in Sparta Prague and buy more and West Ham United. There's that possibility, absolutely. But I'm not so sure. I think people are going, oh, yeah, he's going to buy us out. He's going to buy us out. Well, he's got a couple of years, hasn't he? This whole 2023 thing, apparently avoiding tax, etc., is only a couple of years away. So I don't know. There's a possibility, but I'm not so sure that that will actually really happen. That he'll end up buying the club out outright. But who knows? Who knows? Let's scroll down and see who else is in the chat. Um, Massive Fitness. Good evening to you. Hopefully, we'll get cover for Ogbonna or Antonio in the window. I don't think so. I talked about it. I do watch my show from last night. I talked about this last night. What Moyes has got an opportunity now, like I said last night, to look at Jamal Baptiste, who he loves. He wants him in the first, in and around the first team squad. He might have that opportunity to see what he's made of, and then he might turn around and say, you know what, Baptiste is ready. I'm not going to get another player in for the January transfer window for cover for Ogbonna. He will also see how long it's going to take for Ogbonna to recover, because we still don't know. Further scans are being conducted this week. We still don't know whether Ogbonna is going to be out for a couple of months, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, and we'll know later on this week. So he's got those two things to consider. He's got to see how long Ogbonna is really going to be out for, and we'll probably know that probably by the end of this week. And he's also going to see whether Jamal Baptiste can step up to the plate. Not expecting Baptiste to start every game, don't get me wrong, but being on the bench and maybe coming on for a cameo role, say, in the Europa League games, etc., might give Moyes enough opportunity to say, I'm okay for centre backs. I've got my three, and I've got Jamal Baptiste as well. Now, further up forward, yeah, maybe. I mean, I know a lot of people are crying out for a striker in the January transfer window. And I read again about Simeone being targeted. Do not believe it. It's not going to happen. Trust me, it ain't going to happen. I believe he plays for Cagliari at the moment. And I think last season they were struggling, and without him, they'll probably get relegated. So I'm not so sure that they'll want to sell. And I'm not so sure he'd be the right sort of player for us anyway. Um, who else we got? Jordan. I'd love a top striker in January and a backup left back. Left back, I can see that. But I also said about left back, let's not forget Johnson can play at left back. You've got Fredericks as well that can cover for Sufal. So in a way, we have got cover. I know you won't like it, but we actually do have cover. Who's Laura Woods? did you anyone talk about Laura Woods? Here we go. Billy, yes, Amaret, live Sinclair and Carlton on Talksport, and Laura Woods ain't but too bad for a gooner. There you go. Good evening to you, Cyber. I hope you're well. Hamret, I have Ladette flu budgie and can't take any crap from the likes of it. Oh, I hope you get better soon. I hope you get better soon. The Hazari. We have a lovely team right now. We do have a lovely team. Fantastic. Billy, no, we don't need to blow money. Invest what we need. It's about strengthening only. Absolutely right. Clive, hey guys and girls, Declan has withdrawn. Yep, we've talked about that. Thank you, mate. Sports stats. Do you think Kretinsky will look into buying the stadium and redoing it in the future? Well, no. I, um, no, I actually really don't think he will. I think if the club buy it, let's not forget, running that stadium is not cheap. And whilst that continues, I think that there's a lot of talk about West Ham not buying the stadium, but sort of buying taking ownership of managing it. So managing the catering, managing the stewards, managing the ground, etc., which costs money, but that they might find that they can make money out of that possibly. So owning it outright, I don't know. I don't know. We're sitting pretty. We're paying £3 million, whatever it is, or whatever whatever we're paying at the moment. We're paying a pittance for it. So why spend money on something that you don't necessarily have to do? Jordan, if we had a striker, we'd probably be top of the table. So yes, we need one. Do we though, Jordan? I asked this question last night. I'm going to look up how many bloody goals we scored. Give me a minute, because I'm not saying that we shouldn't have a striker. So let's see. Premier League, West Ham stats 2021. Let's see. Let's see. So far this season, oh, that's too difficult. Let me come out of that one. So far this season, how many goals have we scored? Does anybody know? If anyone can tell me how many goals we've scored, I'd be absolutely grateful. We're scoring goals and we're spreading the goals around the team. Now, I'm not saying that we don't need a striker, to back up Antonio, but we are scoring goals. Defenders are scoring goals, midfielders are scoring goals. Antonio hasn't scored for the last couple of games. So we're getting goals around the park, and will we be top of the league if we had a striker at the moment? I don't think we would, because we've got Benny scoring, we've got Bowen scoring, we've got Fornal scoring. But I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. The Hazari, we have Zuma, but I think Oggy is getting on. Well, he'll be 34 next year. Good evening, Pete. I hope you're well. So you are right. We do need to look at replacing him at some point in the future. Cyber, that's good. Not gonna watch England anymore. You don't do that, mate. Robert, what do you know of the ex-Man City scout George Santos? Not much, but it's quite interesting that he's also joined our scouting group. He's joined him alongside David Moyes Jr. And I said last night in the show, we got Occo Flex. We got Occo Flex from Celtic, who is represented by Wasserman, who David Moyes Jr. used to work for. So, I think David Moyes Jr. is already doing his work. Let's have a look at George Santos and see what he's about. I hope I've got the right George Santos here. Have I got the right George Santos here? No, I bloody well haven't. That's George Santos who wants donations in America. So I don't think. Let's see. George Santos. Here we go. That's him. George Santos, French-born, Cape Verde, former professional footballer and was club scout for Olympique Marseille until today. He was a defender and a midfielder in his career that lasted between 1997 and 2009. Notably, he played for Tranmere Rovers, West Bromwich Albion, Sheffield United, Grimsby Town, Ipswich Town, and QPR. And he also had spells with Toulon, Brighton and Hove Albion, Oxford, Chesterfield, Alfreton Town, Farsley Celtic, Fleetwood Town. So he was a bit of a journeyman. I'm not going to go through his details, and let's see. Have they talked about anything about his? No, nothing about his talent scouting career. Have we got anything else on Santos? No, we haven't. That's it. Don't know much about him, but I promise you, I'll get a bit more detail on him. I hope I got the right one because you said ex-Man City, and I just wrote. What did I say? Well, I'll get more details for you another time. You don't expect me to be professional in this show, do you? Hostidrai Stelchenko. Solskjaer won't sell Lingard for a top four rival. If you have unsolicited pics of Ole, nude pics of Ole, then send it to GSP. Steve still gets 50 grand a week from the West Ham note. Oh, mate, if only, if only. I do this for the love and no more than that. Billy, Talksport twat. Jordan and White have a right rare up with Sinclair saying Rice must move to Man United. He mustn't move anywhere. He'll stay with West Ham and we'll build a brilliant team around him, as we're currently doing. Victor, a lot of the money will be on clearing debts. That's what I said earlier. I absolutely agree. Happy Amaret. Mount has had teeth out, sure, had concussion, and Deck's out with illness. Will Kane playing as shit as ever? Not much of an England squad right now, is it? Steve, Stel should buy the beers on match day. Happy to buy you one. You come and say hello to me, I'll buy you a beer. Actually, I'll get Anton to pay. Black Country, they won't go between them. They've got over 50% of the shares on the board. Yeah, exactly. The two Davids still have a massive say as to what goes on at the club. Gary, hello, mate. Great to see you back still. Never leave us for that long again. I promise I'll try not to. Massive fitness closet loan to buy. We don't know. We don't know. Let's wait till the transfer window to start talking about transfers. Steve, bring back the Peanut Man and Quozy, the program seller. Jordan Daya, I've only been watching West Ham for 15 years, but does anyone else think Declan is the most consistent player we've had in decades? See, yeah, but they're all being very consistent at the moment, mate. Who was the most consistent player before we had Declan? It depends on how far you back, how far back you go. Billy Bonds. How far back do you want to go? Trevor Brooking, Bobby Moore, Phil Parks. Sports stats. Wouldn't it be brilliant if you bought the stadium and it took it down, then rebuilt a bigger one like Upton Park in its place? Well, that would cost an awful lot of money. Massive. Rob Green was consistent. Who else we got? Gary. I worry he wants to get in Moyes' way. Moyes won't suffer that. We'll be off, and he looks like a bloke that will do it his way. Good luck with that. Well, interesting because there was a story knocked around last week that he interferes, or he did interfere with the Czech with Sparta Prague team, etc. And I don't know how true that is, but I don't think he won't have that clout. He won't be able to go in and start ordering people around and doing what he wants. He's only got a 27% investment, no more than that. So let's not worry about that. He also did say, let's go back to his comments. I'm delighted. I'm passionate about football. Greatly appreciated. Blah blah blah. Not that one. The development and the growth of the club in recent years has been clear for everyone. I'm delighted to be part of that. What's an exciting time for the future, etc. Haven't been to the stadium to watch David Moyes' team. I know it's an incredible time to become part of the West Ham family. So I think he appreciates what's going on and what David Moyes has done. Hostajai, Horsky, what a name. His name will fit in with GSP's main business. Who else we got? Let's scroll down. Good evening, Ironclad. Abridged UEFA rule. No two clubs participating in UEFA competition may directly or indirectly control or managed by the same person and competing. Yeah, said that one earlier, mate. Thank you for that. Steve Orsky, we have the risk of the boys drinking before the match, i.e., more against Blackpool and Rio having 3 rums and cokes against the team I forget. Billy, so money will go into the squad. Money will go into the squad. It goes to the dildos and clear debt we owe them, basically. Well, yeah, it's not just we owe them money, but we owe banks money and all that sort of stuff. So that's why I said be careful. Let's not assume that all of a sudden we're going to start spending a fortune in the transfer window. Who's buzzing for Wolves already? I'm going. See you there, whoever's going. Steve, I'm glad it doesn't apply to us. Only would if he owned both West Ham and Sparta Prague outright. That's what I said earlier. Absolutely. Where am I up to? 6:37. It's bloody 7 p.m. So let's scroll down quite a bit. Good evening, Trodge. Well, maybe we don't have to pay them interest anymore. Bet you will. Scott just watched England lose against New Zealand, but this is the Pollock loving it. Thank you very much. Pete Chapman, counting down the days. Scott, international breaks do my head. They all do our breaks in, our heads in. FA Cup starts in January, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Massive. How many games do we have until the window opens? 9 in December, another 3. So we got a dozen games. I don't know what date in January the window opens. Then we've got one on New Year's Day, so that's definitely 10. Definitely 10 games. If not, maybe another one on top of that. Scott, yeah, we missed Roy tonight. Cricket talk for context, Stel. Cricket talk. Boys, don't make me fall asleep, please. Jordan Scott, I thought so because they seem to play near the lower end of the table at this time now. Don't know who you're talking about. I think you're still talking about football. RJS, we would be naive to think that those millionaires are going to put the money back into the club. Well, yeah, kind of what I alluded to. You know, they are going to pocket some of it. They may decide to use some of it to pay off debts. They may decide to use some of it to buy a few players. Who knows? The Hazari. Unpopular opinion. Hate to say it, but Antonio and Oggy, and moving on now, lad. Hate to say it, but Antonio and Oggy moving on now. Well, Oggy is getting old. Antonio 31. We do need other players. We do need other players without a shadow of a doubt. We do. Scott, will Lingard sell United to us? Will Lingard sell? Will United sell Lingard to us? As we're well, they may not, but then he'll walk away for nothing at the end of the season, and we'll get him for nothing instead. Um, what else we got? Good evening, NWO. Man who are no rivals. They are no rivals. Vino, hopefully Man United can sync so that Wolves and Villa become their direct rivals. Cyber, is anyone going Wolves? I'm going. My uncle got me a ticket and good pubs near the ground. Well done, mate. So I might see you there. Billy, well, just so we're all aware, Tottenham get everywhere they go. Fireworks going off. That was half an hour ago. That's how far back I am. Let's scroll down. Jordan, also looking forward to the Man City game. Can't believe we've beaten Man United, Man City, Liverpool, and Tottenham. I'm deliberating about City. Should I get a ticket for it or not? Steve, I think Lingard is coming to us no matter what. They think they're just having a lucky run. We know different. Come on, you irons. Oliver Lee, didn't this issue raise its head when the Red Bull Leipzig and Red Bull Salzburg met? Yes, I believe it did. There was something similar there as well, mate. And they own the clubs outright as well. So that if that's not a conflict of interest, I don't know what is. You're absolutely right. Let's scroll down a bit more. NWO Kretinsky obviously knows what he's doing. Absolutely does. Only 27%. It means he's under the radar. He can buy out gold fully. He might do. If there's anyone that might sell out fully, it might be gold more than anyone else. Jazza, who shares the buying? Right, I'll skip through those very quickly again, mate, if you haven't seen them. So Gold had, let's get rid of your comment, mate, so you can see it. Gold had 51%, it's down to 38%. So it looks like he's bought some of his shares. Well, not looks like, he has bought some of his shares. David Gold, sorry, that was Sullivan, sorry. David Gold, he had 35% share, now he's only got 25%. And Trip Smith had 10%, down to 8%. And the Terry Brown family still got 1%. So he's bought a little bit of everyone, it looks like, mate. Oh, is that Sean? Freak off his leash, something like that. If he gets us chucked out of Europe, it will defeat the point of getting investment for players who we want to play in Europe. Well, it won't because he's under the radar. 27% means that those rules kind of don't apply to him. Steve, I heard people saying we will be getting banned from Europe because of this deal is bullshit. It is utter bullshit. Jealousy rather than truth. Ironclad, but doesn't that answer the question about him buying the rest of the club after 2023 unless he gets rid of Sparta interest? That's what I'm saying. If he wants to buy the club outright, he will have to sell his shares in Sparta Prague. He'll have to do that. Steve, Ironclad, it's obvious he wants to own West Ham in 2023. It's not Steve, or he will sell shares, not rocket science. Yeah, well, we don't know if he wants outright ownership. Ken, excited with a small grain of cautious optimism because we are West Ham, but things look great. Good still. They sure do, Ken. They sure do, mate. Jordan, bit of a coincidence. All our players are avoiding international games. Grant, things are looking bright in the claret and blue. They always are, and they're just even brighter. There's always been brightness, but they're just an awful lot brighter now, aren't they? You misread the earlier post. It was the point. It was 1 point better than Leicester, not Liverpool, when they won the Premier League. We're going to win the league, and we're going to win the Europa League, and we're going to win the League Cup, and we're going to win the FA Cup. I don't want too much, do I? Daniela, good evening to you. I feel for Bowen, but I'm glad he did not get picked for England. Um, Stel Acker eye candy. Keep it to yourself, Hammeret. Trodge. England robbed us of Ashton, remember? Yeah, they did. Ironclad. Liverpool players asked for Deck to be dropped from the England squad as they didn't want to face him again. The Hazari. How do I get one of them green hammers things on my name? Because I've been around for a while now. You have to become a member of West Ham Network. So if you've already subscribed to the channel, the next thing is to become a member of the channel and you'll get a little green thing next to your name. Vinay, it's now GSKB out. GSKB out. Cyber, take Karen away. Can't stand all that name. Hammeret, the Hazari, you can become a member to the channel. Still, will tell you when the chat jumps to it, and I've just done it. Trodge, can we replace Brady with Margaret Mountford? Ironclad. Anyone here got a bit on the poppy shirt worn against Genk? Benny's and Antonio's were up for 700 quid. Wow, got a bid. Wow. I mean, you get a shirt off a player. The last thing you would you sell it or would you keep it? Hmm. I don't know. Baptiste is in the England under 18 squad. No, he's not. He's in the England under 19 squad. Daniela. Ali McCoist and female presenter on Talksport morning show said Simon J got it wrong. It's us bunting ourselves. Y- yeah, wasn't Jordan saying stop singing or something? You know, good evening, Reese. How are you, mate? I hope you're well. You know, I mean, fuck me. Didn't have a lot to sing about when he was at Palace, did he? Really? So, let's scroll down a bit more. Alfie, what have you missed, Alfie? You've missed the whole show. I was meant to be off half an hour ago. I promised the missus that it would only be half an hour. We talked about Brady being happy that Kretinsky's here. We talked about Kretinsky being happy that he is here. We talked about Sullivan keeping his fair share of the club. We talked about Gold getting his pension. We talk about Trip Smith getting a bit of pocket money. I mentioned who Kretinsky was and how many things he owns, and I talked about he's invested it. I talked about Pavel, his sidekick, and I talked about Deck being out of the England squad. I don't have an update on Ogbonna, and we've been kicked out of the under 21s Papa John Trophy. I think I called it Papa Doc Trophy, Papa John's Trophy, because we played an ineligible player. There you go, mate. There you go. Ryan, we need a PH more than a striker. PH more than a striker. And if we get Lingard in January, we have a backup there. Absolutely. Trodge. Send all the radioactive waste via Raw Mail. Problem sorted. Steve, get rid of the West Ham London badge. Bring back. Well, I don't agree because apart from London, this is the original badge. Apart from London, if I would do anything, I just put East above London. That's all. But Steve, this is the original badge. I just don't like London on it. That's all. Um, so no, no, the castle's gone. Let's move on. No disrespect, mate. I know. Great point, but no. The castle badge has far more meaning. Original badge, apart from London on it. Trodge, I prefer the old badge. See, I'm outnumbered. Scott, Alese is ready to move up to Premier League, but Moyes will use Dawson until we get Coletta Carr. Don't count on getting Coletta Carr. Pat, there you go, mate. Now I've made up for not talking about, because last night, whoever was watching the show, I said, oh, and the final bit of the show, I'm going to talk about Kretinsky. And then I did something and I said good night. And then Pat messaged me and went, I've been waiting 2.5 hours to hear about Kretinsky. There you go, Pat. I've just given you an hour of Kretinsky. I hope that's made up for it. There you go. Thank you, Billy. 23 goals we've scored so far this season, 11 games. That's not bad for a team that's only got one striker. Steve, Stel, when people bang on about getting a striker, I think the reason why we're all saying it is because we have been lucky with Antonio. He hasn't got injuries. I do get it. But I've been saying if we get Lingard, don't expect a striker to come in. Reese, 23, third out of everyone. Joint second out of everyone. Get it right, mate. Ironclad. Klopp said Bowen is a player he rates. Yeah. Tapped him up. If you watched the show last night, you would have heard that as well. He publicly tapped him up. But they won't make an approach in January. No, they'll make an approach in. I hope Boeing tells them to fuck right off. 58 on target. Would work twice. Look at that. That's not bad. The castle has so much historical meaning. I like this. Just put East on it, and we're done. Pat, we have a castle for less time than we had no castle on our crest. Absolutely correct, Pat. Absolutely correct. Ironclad, the winning team scored goals from all over the park, not just Ryan, the striker. Chelsea have only one outfield player who hasn't scored this season. There you go. DJ, don't stop. Good evening. Think we will still get Lingard, so don't need another striker. Yama will be on his way out, so we can't just so we can just rotate force number 9 to help Antonio out. I agree with that. I agree. I don't know if anyone will buy Yamo in the January window. We might have to let him go for nothing. But yeah. Daniela, Stel, and the boys. A question: Lingard or Sterling? Wow. Who would you? All right, let's get it. Look, right, we can't afford Sterling's salary. We can't afford to buy Sterling, so it's going to have to be Lingard. Um, I'm never professional. That's absolutely true. Oh, that George Santos. Yeah, that George. I hope I got the right one. I hope I got the right one. Steve, Newcastle are changing badge to a man flogging his wife after being. Oh dear, dear, oh dear. I should try. West Ham should invest in bionics. Remember the bionic man, better, stronger, faster. We have the capability, we have the technology. I don't think there's a lot of people that remember that far back, but I remember it. Vegeta, good evening to you. Steos, best showman. I see your video in the bar. All French people say you, but anybody understand? Everyone sees me in a bar, but no one understands me. I can't speak French, I'm afraid. Vegeta. Maybe I should get French subtitles up. I don't know if I could do that. That'd be good, wouldn't it? And then they can watch me and read the subtitles. Hammerette, you'd miss kickoff if you waited for Stel Boy. Bloody cheek! How dare you? Cyber. I was at Kilburn the other day. I bought chicken and chips. Like to treat you one day to PFC. Thank you, Cyber. That's so generous of you, mate. Oh dear, Cole, Sparta Prague, West Ham new feeder team. Might well be, might well be. Helen, that's why Declan's out of the English squad. His mate Mount is out. Did hear earlier that Declan and Grealish were doing their own training by themselves. Daniela, Declan's in bed apparently. He's not well. Daniela, won't be long. Will be till we're connected to Sparta Prague. Yeah, someone else just mentioned that as well. Daniela, 1st January, we played Palace, and then we aren't playing again until the 14th. So therefore, we have got 10 games left, including the League Cup when we knock out Spurs, the Europa League, etc., and then the Premier League games. Free, I'm sure that's Sean. Same picture. Am I the only one who loved Lingard when he came out? When he came, but can't understand the obsession with bringing him back just so he can sit on the bench. No way he's getting in ahead of any of our current team for me. That's a good point. But I think the point is, it's not so much about bringing players in to replace current players. It's about squad rotation. And I can see Lingard coming in. Because and he'll have to accept that Ben Rama stepped up, Fornals, Bowen, or everyone stepped up. So we'll have to be about rotation. If he's happy with that, then yeah, bring him in. Patrick, no idea what's been covered. We'll listen, drive home. Any truth on Rice being? Well, hopefully you saw I did a quick review of everything. So hopefully you've caught up, Patrick. Let me know if you haven't. Vegeta, I advise you a good player in Switzerland. Name is Amura. I love all these players that you come out with, Vegeta. Well, one day when I've got time, I will look up all these players. Ironclad, I think Sully will sell out first as he needs to keep his new missus in luxury. Good evening, Spencer. How are you? Fair play, mate, for doing near on 3 hours last night. I was fucking knackered last night for doing that shit. I shouldn't be swearing. It's early. I was absolutely wiped out, but thank you for that, mate. Much appreciated. Vegeta, still shave all if West Ham win the Premier League. If I shave this, I will be a single man, and I don't really want that. Oh, the back sack and crack. Well, I've actually got one of those. You know what? I'm going to hang on a minute, people. How professional is that, eh? Now we have a sponsor, and I'm shit at remembering our sponsors. Manscaped, the back sack and crack shaver for men. Now, if you go onto their website, and if anyone wants one of these, if you go onto their website and type in, when you say if you've got a discount code, if you type in West Ham Network, you get a discount. I've got no idea how much discount is. I'm not Russ and I'm not Anton. I can't remember any of this sponsorship stuff. But if you go onto their website, and where it says type your discount code in and type West Ham Network, they'll give you a discount on these And this is for your. There you go. There's some advertising for you. Who says I can't do an advert? There you go. Steve, still to shave head and beard if we win the Premier League. I already shaved my hair once for charity. Raised £1,000 for that. I couldn't believe it. But I'm not shaving the beard. Sod that. My missus will leave me. The Hazari, how do I become a member? Because I have no clue. Can someone play? You've got to go in, right. If you've already subscribed to the West Ham Network on YouTube channel, if you click on that, it's somewhere. I don't know. I've not done it. There'll be a become a member. There's a button to become a member. I don't. It's in your. It's in the link when you go into our channel. So you go into our channel on the West Ham Network, subscribe to it, and then it asks you if you want to become a member. So what else we got? V&I, Papadoc Trophy for up and coming corrupt dictators. All right, I made a mistake. Lee, we're massive, mate. I hope you're late. I'm sorry, ain't been viewing lately. Just had a good time of late. But hey, we're still massive. What a blow for Ogu. I hope you're well, mate, and thank you for joining us. Billy. Everyone saying hello to everyone. Got a parade in Southampton for Remembrance on Sunday. Nice one, mate. Ironclad still the club are auctioning the signed shirt. Oh, it's the club. Sorry. I thought someone had taken the shirt off a player at the Gent game and started bloody putting it on eBay or something like that. My mistake. What else? Let's scroll down because I've really got to go. I'm over an hour. This was a 10-minute show. There you go. Where you subscribe to the Hazari, click on join and choose whatever tier you want to join up with. There you go. Bang on. Thank you very much for that. Mark, I'm with you on the badge still. Yeah. No disrespect, but Pat was right. The castle was brought in 63, I think, something like that, 64. And it lasted until we left the bowling. But our history is a lot longer than that. So just put East London on it, and we'll all be bloody happy. A hammerette, although it didn't have the castle, my favourite badge is the 1958 crest. There you go, hammerette. So you're agreeing with me. Ironclad. My daughter told me about it this morning. She's not home at the moment. What did she tell you about? Let's scroll down because I've really, got to go. If I'm correct, the 58 badge and kit was also the 66 badge and kit was also the. I don't know, Hammerhead, mate. Sorry, I don't know. Can't answer that. Spencer, Lingard can't play in Europe. He's cup tied, and that's why we need a striker who hasn't played in Europe. Lingard will play in the Premier League, and we'll put Antonio to play in the cup games and Europa League when we win that. Billy, Green Street House, usually known as Bowling Castle, was a stately home in East Ham. There you go, a little bit of history for you. Steve WHU, I saw you at Southampton. You were sober. Must have been. Why didn't you say hello? Did if you said hello, I do apologise. I can't admit. I've got a memory like a sieve. I don't. If you said hello, I'm sorry. Hello again. If you didn't say hello, next time come up and say hello. If you said hello, I'm a dick for not remembering. So my apologies. But it was early, wasn't it? That's probably why I was. Hang on, I've been to the pub before the game, so I was just merry. Daniela Hammerstein missed kick off the match. Didn't get it, Daniela. Sorry, my apologies. Seal Ryan, Slirian. Oh, my pronunciations. I mean, if anyone can pronounce my name, I should be able to pronounce others. If we get Lingard, Bowen can play up top in Europa. Absolutely, Billy. The alternative name derives from the local legend linking the house with Anne Boleyn and from its imposing appearance, notably the castle-like structure called Anne Boleyn's Tower, Green Street House. History, people, history. Where's Nigel Khan when you need him? Trodge, we need better attacking subs. I wouldn't disagree with that. That's a good point, Trodge. Yeah. Alfie, at least Rice will get 2 weeks and well-deserved rest. Absolutely. Robert Scott, we need Lingard as support for Antonio when he gets injured due to the amount of games we are playing now. I agree with that. Let's scroll down. I just lost some respect for you, Mask. I got it. I got it. I haven't used it yet. I do want to give it a try. I actually, I do want to give it a try. Steve, no, still you need wax strips for us to slowly put off and suffer. Reese, you raised £1,000 and I raised 50 quid when I shaved mine. It's who you know. It's who you know, Reese. It's who you know. Hey, Barley, can we go on the Manscaped website and get more than 20% as we are massive? Billy, Imac is what you need. Ironclad, not as bad as Norwich, who have a men's makeup company as a shirt sponsor. There you go. There you go. Lee, I need one of them landscape things. Oh no, Manscape, I'm overgrowing. When you get older, isn't it true? When a man gets older, loses his hair up here, but grows hair. Every like you wake up in the morning and go, where's this rug come from? What's going on here? And your head's going like, I wish I had some of it. Like you start combing it from your chest upwards in order to cover your head. I mean, why is that? Why do we lose hair up here and we grow it? I mean, honestly, I keep, this baby is going to come into a lot of use and ain't going to be just down there that I'm going to use it as well. Honestly, we just like sprout, or is it just me? Is it just me because I'm Greek? I don't know. I don't know. Uh, let's scroll down. Peter, no, he's not got COVID. He's absolutely not got COVID. We have learned that not well. He's under the weather, but it's not been described as COVID. So no. This time I shaved my head because I messed up my hair dye. Reese, you are an interesting individual. Trodge, Rice is understood to have contracted a heavy cold in the past few days. Yeah, so it's not COVID. Peter X, when the club is taken over, we should drop the London bit as it's embarrassing. We're not going to get taken over. Steve, I said hello, mate. Steve, boom. You were with Lafranc. I do remember now. Sorry, mate. I apologise. Hey, Barley, come on, Stell. How about you shave the beard off if we win the league and the Euro? I'm not shaving the beard. I'm not shaving the beard. Let's scroll down. I'll shave the head again, but I'm not shaving the beard. Peter, do you do personal appearances with the Frank Skinner? No. Hit the like button. I never ask. Hit the like button. We're massive. Please hit the like button if you haven't already done so. Manscaped have sponsored every football YouTube site. That's fine. Let them sponsor us as well. Reese, too much information. Saved buying a jumper. Ironclad. It says lawnmower on the box. Do they do a strip of? It does say the lawnmower, doesn't it? I shave my croissants. I'm so confused. There's no join for me. Oh, mate, have you? Uh, I tell you what. Listen, mate. I tell you what. Send us a message on. Hang on. Let me give you our email address. Send us a message on the West Ham Network at gmail.com, and then we'll send you details of how you become a member of the channel. So do that, mate. West Ham Network at gmail.com. Tell us who you are, and we'll send you details on how to become a member. And thank you for wanting to do so as well. I'm glad I'm 64. Started tucking my pubes in my socks. NW, is there any men in here? Manscaped hair dye, and there is no men makeup. Is there any men in here? Manscaped hair dye? They don't do Manscaped hair dye, do they? And there's no makeup. No. This is only to shave your bits or shave around your bits. Anyone got links to the poppy shirt? Don't, I'm afraid, mate. Sorry, Billy, I haven't. Reese, I messaged Anton for the link, but he's not replied. He's like that. He's like that. He doesn't bother with anyone. He pretends to like you all, but he doesn't. They should call you Kate Bush if you're that hairy. Fremma, honestly, this Premier League break is killing me. Can't wait to see us play again. Hammerette, Hazari, click back to exit the chat, and at the top where the title info for this video is, where it says you are subscribed, next to that is a join button. There you go. Should become an admin or something, Hammerette. Billy, remember silence at 11 o'clock tomorrow as we remember the fallen. Absolutely bang on, mate, and thank you for reminding us. Right, that's it, done. Just to recap, because it's been a lot longer than anticipated. Karen Brady, she talked about how glad she is that Kretinsky's on. She's finding it, he's going to work well with him, etc. Kretinsky's talking about the West Ham family and how excited he is at being part of it, and he's seeing the progress that's happened. He's bought a 27% stake, based around about 150 million pounds, which makes the club worth circa 575 million pounds. David Sullivan had 51.5% stake in the club. He now's got 38.8% in the stake in the club, and that's still worth 223 million. But he's sold 73 million pounds of his shares to Kretinsky. David Gold, he had 35% shares in the club. He now's got 25%, and he's still got a value worth 144 million pounds in the club. And the value of the shares he sold is around 57 million. Trip Smith, he had 10% shares. He's now only got 8% shares. So he's still got a 46 million pound stake in the club, and he sold around about 11 million pounds worth of shares. The Terry Brown family still have 1% share in this stake in the club, which is worth about 5.75 million pounds. And there you go. And the breaking news, as we all know, Declan's out the England squad because he's not well, but he's not got COVID. I'm afraid I don't have any updates on Ogbonna. And we've been kicked out of the Papa John's Trophy under 21s tournament because we fielded an ineligible player. Ajibola Relese had 2 yellow cards, which meant he shouldn't have played against Gillingham, and we're out of that. And that is your lot. Thank you very much indeed. We will see you here tomorrow. I don't know. I think Russ is back and he'll do a lunchtime show. I think Russ is doing a some kind of quiz night tonight as well. Is it Wednesday? It is Wednesday. Yeah. I think so. Join us for that as well. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for the banter. I mean, does make me laugh. It does make my day. The miss is about to walk in, and that is it for today, or for until later today. Good evening and good night.